Hello and welcome to Change is Possible podcast. My name is Ani Filipova and I'm your host. When I left my banking career to try something new, the number one question everyone asked me was, how did you find the courage? The thing is, it's not about the courage. It is about knowing what you want and planning for it. That's why I started this podcast, to help you make your career change possible. Each of our guests have done a successful career change, and we are going to discuss practical advice, actionable tips, and inspirational stories that can help you to get unstuck and transition into work that you love. Let's get started. Hello everyone. My guest today is Frank Koo. Frank started his career with IBM in Singapore after graduating from university with a business degree. Since then, he has taken on different roles in the technology industry, including 11-year stint in Oracle, where he headed up various businesses functions, including as managing director for Singapore and South Asia growth economies. In 2010, it was the first pivot. Frank moved into the education sector, initially with Pearson Education, where he led its learning solution business. This responsibility subsequently brought him to China, where he was based for 2.5 years. And then he joined an educational startup in Shanghai as their chief operating officer. And in 2016, Frank had his third pivot. He returned to Singapore to join LinkedIn and is now LinkedIn's head of Asia for Talent Solutions. Frank's life purpose is to help people and teams achieve positive transformation with joy, and he's passionate about helping people leverage LinkedIn platform to inspire others and navigate their career transformation through the great reshuffle. Frank, I'm so excited to welcome you on my podcast. How are you?
Fantastic, Annie. Thank you for inviting me here. I really love to be here.
I already mentioned you had several pivots, and it's very interesting. And we have these discussion topics today that are on topical subjects like the great reshuffle, career transformation. So I can't wait to start. And let me start from the very beginning. You had an exciting career with many changes and turns, but when you completed your education, how did you land your first job? Was it something that you always wanted to do, or was it something that happened by coincidence?
Oh, wow. That's a $1 million question, Annie.
Yeah.
I would say that it's more coincidental rather than planned.
Okay.
Because during that time, that was the year 1990, there wasn't so much of career counseling that we know now in colleges, at least not in mine. But there were quite a number of campus recruitments at that time. So I remember in my final year, I was majoring in finance at that time. I went through a couple of campus recruitment talks, especially with multinational companies. And subsequently, I sent in a couple of applications. And lo and behold, there were quite a few of them, I think it was 5 of them, who actually got me into the interviews. I went through the interviews, and it turned out that actually I was one of the few fortunate ones at that time to be offered a couple of jobs. So for me, I had 3 jobs on offer, which I have to make a very difficult decision to decide. I remember the first one was actually with your previous company, Annie. It was with Citi.
Oh, okay.
The role of a trainee night trader, a trader at night.
Okay.
Correct. The second one is with Procter & Gamble. That was for a training brand manager. And the third one was with IBM as a management associate. Now, at the time, I was a very social person. So I figured that it's quite difficult for me to be working at night, or my friends are sleeping. And to be sleeping in the day when my friends are working, or in fact, partying away. So I decided I would not take on the Citi role, unfortunately. And then between Procter & Gamble and IBM, I decided to take on the IBM role just because they have a more structured training program. And there was a sense that, you help in my skills development and career development. And so that's how I landed on my first job.
That's great, because when I look back in my first jobs. I mean, I applied to all the international companies in Bulgaria and they all rejected me, all of them. So you're very lucky. So you have spent 11 years in tech industry, as you said, in companies like IBM, HP, and Oracle. What are the critical skills that you use later that you learn in these companies?
Right. I was very much in the business side of the tech companies, not so much in the technical side, because my major was in business and finance. So there were a couple of skills that I thought was really, really helpful for me. First of all, is really about relationship building, because I need to meet up with customers, with partners. I need to build a strong proposition of our solutions with them. And at the same time, internally, I need to make sure that I collaborate with the various cross-functional teams to build the solutions together so that it makes sense for our customers. And so the business, or rather relationship building skills, was very core for my survival, you would, at the time. And the next area is really in being able to bring technology to solve some of the biggest business problems. Right? Because the companies I work with are solutions providers, and we are trying to ensure that customers have the problems solved or the business needs met with the technology. The third area is very much on management skills. I was actually very fortunate to be a people manager a relatively early part of my career. I remember that time I was about 28 years old when I became a first-time people manager. It was not easy to begin, but I picked up quite a lot of skills in people management, managing across geographies and cultures, which I'm sure any you yourself have been through, working in different countries, and also developing business strategies and also understanding processes, operations, and systems. So these are some of the skills that actually has helped me along the way, even throughout my career.
Yeah, I can imagine these are the most important skills, right? Start with relationship building, working with people, solving problems for your clients. That's basically the critical thinking you need throughout your career. And let's go to your first pivot when you move from tech to education. So what drove this decision? And what are the critical learnings of the process of transition? And what should people prepare or think about if they want to do a similar transition?
Wow, there's a lot of questions down here. Maybe I'll try to answer one at a time, if you don't mind. Right.
Yeah.
Well, this pivot actually started during 2008. And you remember that is during the global financial crisis.
Yes, I remember very well. I was in London at that time. It was not a great time. But anyway, over to you.
Yeah, it was not a great time for the financial services industry. Many people, I'm sure, went out of job. Neither was it a great time for many other industries, and including the technology industry that I was in at the time. So amongst the people that I knew in technology, a lot of people also went out of jobs. A lot of them took a long time to find the jobs. And many of them, have to serve their mortgage payments, have to bring up children, have to pay for family expenses. And along the way, I know a couple of my friends, they went into anxiety and depression. And so that was when I really started wanting to see how I can help them to get through this bad stage of their life, rejuvenate their life. And I realized later on that actually I enjoy helping people. And I'm pretty okay at doing that. And that got me into a journey of exploring to see what I can really do to help people through some of those difficulties. So along the way, I researched into the education sector. I researched into the sector in what they call developing human potential. I invested in an education startup that does right brain development. I developed a business plan actually to want to build a program to help people through difficulties. And then I realized that I wasn't really ready to get out on my own because my business and financial skills on a practical way is not really well honed. And then a headhunter I remember Russell Reynolds called me and said, hey, by the way, there's this company called Pearson Education who's looking for people to transform their business from print. At the time, Pearson was one of the biggest publishing company, but they were undergoing huge amounts of disruption. So they wanted people to transform business from print to digital, and from offering products to offering whole suite of educational services, and they call this learning solutions. I thought it was a godsend to me at that time, and therefore I decided that, well, I was happy and blessed to be able to have some savings. I have some skills that I believe could contribute to this transformation. And this is also in line with my goal of wanting to help people progress in life. In fact, Pearson's mission at that time was to help people progress in life through learning and education. And that really inspired me. And therefore, I took the plunge to join the education sector, if you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think you have a question on, what are the considerations in this decision, and what should people do if they want to make the transition. Now, thinking back, I would say that, first of all, to me, it's about interest and passion. Like for me, it is about wanting to help people, and that became the true north. And then at the same time, I also believe that I have some financial backing to allow me to, well, if I were to fail in my new pursuit, that at least I can pay my mortgage, I can bring up my children, and it can last me for a while. And thirdly is the kind of skills. I believe I have some skills to contribute to the new organization and new industries. And that was the reason why I decided that it was a great time to make the move.
Great. Very good practical advice. And then the third career pivot, right? So you went back to Singapore and you started working for LinkedIn. So from education to social media. So what attracted you in LinkedIn? Because this was back at what year? 2016, right?
Yes, that's right.
So the social media frenzy was not that much, I think, at that time. So how did you find about it? What attracted you in LinkedIn? And then we'll talk about the skills that you needed. What are the skills that you transferred there? So let's start with the first one. What attracted you to LinkedIn?
Oh, well, it's really about LinkedIn's vision of helping create opportunities for the global workforce. It's also, as you know, it's in line with my vision of helping people progress in life and to have positive transformation. And at the same time, there was a time when LinkedIn acquired an organization called lynda.com. They have a huge library of e-learning content. And being in the education sector at that time, I have this vision that e-learning is going to drive the way people will learn in future. People can learn anywhere, anytime, just in time, even just in case. It can also help people develop a learning culture, or organizations develop a learning culture to enable everyone to be lifelong learners. So I thought that was fantastic and that attracted me. But the situation under which I joined LinkedIn was very interesting because at that time, I remember I was still based in Shanghai.
Yeah.
I've been there for close to 3 years. My dad, who was in Singapore, wasn't feeling very well. And I thought I wanted to come back to Singapore to really look after him, quit my job, come back to Singapore, and then decide what to do. But like most people who are looking out for opportunities, they go onto LinkedIn. And so did I. So interestingly, when I went into LinkedIn, the job that I eventually took up in LinkedIn actually popped up in my profile. I didn't know how it worked at that time.
It was meant to be, obviously.
Yeah. It was meant to. I thought it was another godsend for me. And of course, there's the artificial intelligence behind the platform that actually matches my skills that I have with the job requirements. And so it turned out to be really another blessing for me. To cut the story short, I applied for the job, and I also went on LinkedIn to seek out some of my ex-colleagues or friends who were already on LinkedIn. I hooked up with them, asked them how it was working in LinkedIn. They told me all the great things about working in LinkedIn. When I went to an interview, when I was in Shanghai, and then eventually LinkedIn decided that I was a right fit for the role, and they relocated me back to Singapore, which is exactly what I wanted to do. So it's kind of like, again, a coincidence. I take it as is something that is a blessing for me and also my family.
I see. So I guess that the skills that you have developed before, networking, helping people, reaching out, connecting with people, these are all the skills that you transferred into LinkedIn. What was the skills that helped you the most in your new environment?
Well, I think it is really about people management, because in LinkedIn, I have to manage across different cultures, different geographies, right? We have people based in Singapore of different nationalities, and many of them they fly out to the various countries. And so that was not easy for them because in terms of customer proximity, in terms of understanding the market, there's a bit of a gap, even though they may be from the countries. Obviously, during COVID, it makes it very difficult for them to fly back to the countries to do business, first of all, and also to meet their loved ones. So it kind of like fine-tuned, my ability to manage people through some difficulties and also have a better appreciation of cultural nuances, as well as be more sensitive to the needs of people with different background.
Okay, so let me ask you these questions. So you know about the side hustle concept, that you should have something alongside your job that actually is your hobby or interest, and you should develop it to make your life and career more interesting. So should people have this side hustle, and why? And then did you have such interest, and did they help you steer your career one way or another?
And yeah, I thought this is a question that I should be asking you and learning from you. I know you made a fantastic transition out of your side hustle to a new area that you truly enjoy doing, right?
Yeah.
To just share some of my thoughts, I would say, many people take on side hustles for different reasons, right? Some do so because they need the money. One job is not enough. They need the money from the second job or the side hustle to supplement the income, right? But at the same time, there are many people who actually take on a side hustle or side interest, that you call it, even without being paid, right? And I think this is something that is very useful. When we talk about work-life balance, it's not just about balancing the time you work versus the time you're not working and doing something else, but it's really about also pursuing different areas in life, right? So other than pursuing the professional or the financial front in the work, if all of us can also pursue some other areas of interest to us, which is aligned with our passion, our life goals, then there would be a natural work-life balance because you are putting your minds on areas that you do for money and also you do for interest. And so many people, I believe, are doing that, which is very well, and that helps them to grow and helps them to find joy in their daily lives. And I'm seeing that companies are also mindful of that. And so they are helping employees form, as you know, we call employee resource groups, ERGs, right? To enable employees to take on areas of interest. Now, it can be for charity or sustainability or environment or even parenthood or women enablement. But such ERGs also help employees find additional meaning in the work they do besides just pursuing their direct career. And so for me, my side hustle or side interest, if you would, is very much associated with my purpose of helping people progress in life and make positive transformation with joy. I believe that humanity can be happier, society can be happier if people find joy in the work that they do. And personally, I can make an impact on a scalable way in three areas. So first of all is in the uppermost echelon of an organization, which is at the board level. The second one is in the human resource community, because the human resource groups of people are people that are building programs, coming up with strategies to ensure a great employee experience and ensure great engagement. And the third area is really the institutions that are preparing people for work so that they have a great life skills, they have a good mindset before they start working. And so my side hustle are involved in volunteering in these organizations. So for instance, in the director level in Singapore Institute of Directors, I am in a committee that actually builds a mentoring program for would-be directors. And my aim is to really introduce diversity into the board so that people can have better ideas and more diverse ideas to help organizations grow. And in the HR community, I'm also in a committee of the Institute of HR Professionals that helps build and develop capabilities and capacity in the HR community. And I also volunteer in some of the Institute of Higher Education as an advisor to hopefully try to refine and rebuild the curriculum and the way they train people so that people are ready for work. And then that's the external side hustles, if you call it. And then I have two internal side hustles, being the sponsor of the LinkedIn's Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging, ERG, as well as what we call the Embrace ERG, which helps employees to appreciate people of different cultures.
I see.
That's quite a lot, but that gave me a lot of energy and joy in what I'm doing. So on the whole, I think having a side interest, that gives you energy is really, really empowering.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And you had a lot of side hustles. I also went through my fair share. And honestly, if I didn't go and do all these side things, maybe I would have been still kind of having one job only. But now I have more and it's more interesting. I meet many different people, different opportunities open in front of you. So it is really great. Thank you for confirming that. You shared with me your life purpose to help people and teams achieve positive transformation with joy, and that you're passionate about helping people leverage LinkedIn platform in this time of transformation and a great reshuffle. Can we talk a bit about what is driving this great reshuffle and how company culture is changing because of it? And then subsequently, what should employees do to steer the company culture? Because it's not only top down, it's also bottom up, right? This is when this works the best.
Oh, indeed. Yeah. I think this is an area that we have a lot of experience as well, heading the operations in the past for Citi. From my perspective, the great reshuffle or the great resignation is the term that is used just over about 1.5 years ago, right? And that was during the pandemic. And it was really the pandemic that has caused many people to really rethink what it means about working for them. They're thinking about not just what they do, but why they're doing what they do, right? Reestablishing the priorities in life as well. And so as results, we'll see quite a lot of people, even voluntarily leaving the jobs and taking on some other areas that, is very much aligned with their purpose as well as the meaning in life. Now, a lot of companies are recognizing that, I've seen, and they're looking at, providing a more engaging, a trusted environment for employees to be able to thrive in the midst of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. They're focusing quite a lot on essentially building or rebuilding the culture, providing a flexible working arrangements for employees, also taking care of employee wellness across many aspects, and building a psychological safety within the organization so that employees can feel that they are accepted and then included and be able to continue to contribute. And I think from the employees area, like you say, it's very much a bottom up as well. Employees are really looking beyond just pay and asking for more in what they do. So I'm seeing that quite a number of employees are more vocal, right, in wanting to build a greater experience for themselves. They want to bring their whole self to work, and they're asking the companies to provide some conditions so that they can do so and contribute sustainably. So we are seeing, especially from the millennials and Generation Z, that the voice are louder, right? They're sharing their concerns, they're sharing what they want with the organizations, and companies are responding accordingly. So like you say, it's both a top-down approach as well as a bottoms-up approach. And hopefully, when these two combine, it will become the sweet spot where employees can become happier, more engaged, bring their whole self to work, and organizations can improve their productivity in a sustainable way.
Yeah, that was very well said. And with that in mind, what do you think are the key trends in the talent market today? And what do you expect for the talent market in the next several years?
Wow. If I have a crystal ball, I'll say that, well, right now, in fact, this is what we are seeing in the crystal ball.
Yeah.
There is a huge supply and demand gap in many industries at the moment. A supply of talents in many industries at the moment. On the one hand, we have a lot of people looking for jobs. And on the other hand, we have a lot of companies with jobs ready looking for people. And so, we are seeing, in fact, from LinkedIn's data that this mismatch is really caused by the skills obsolescence.
I see.
Yeah, in fact, many roles, right, have changed as a result of digital disruption. And even with the same role, the underlying skills have changed. And so there is this gap where people are not ready to access to new roles or new skills in the same role because what they used to do for the last 2 decades becomes obsolete, and they need to pick up new skills. So the way to really solve, what we call this, the war on talent. Right? First of all, it's for companies to really look beyond just qualification or even past experience into having a better appreciation of the skills that they require, the skills that incoming employees have, as well as the potential to help employees develop the skills so that they can actually bring in people who are perhaps maybe 70% ready and build up to 100%, and so that they can contribute to the job. At the same time, for existing employees, there's a need to reskill and upskill their own workforce so that they will be ready, because you just can't find what we call a plug and play talents from outside and get them expect to deliver on day one right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Because companies have to hire for potential, for what is that person going to be in 3 to 4 to 5 years, and is this person adaptive and can change? Because I think that's the most important thing in the future. When so much change and the pace is so fast that whoever can change and pick up and learn is going to be in the winning position.
Oh yeah, you said it exactly well. And in fact, from the employee's viewpoint, like you say, people needs to be ready to adapt and learn, to have a growth mindset, to be able to stretch themselves outside the comfort zone all the time. Because otherwise they can become obsolete themselves. So therefore, you're spot on in terms of what we as professionals need to do to be adaptable.
And now let's continue on the same topic. What do you think are the critical skills that will be needed in the future? So if somebody is in their mid-career, what kind of skills should they aim to cultivate, and what are the skills they should be seeking to develop to stay relevant on the market?
Wow. I will classify the skills into maybe two buckets. First of all is hard skills. Right? Hard skills are skills that comes with the profession.
Okay.
You are a accountant, you need to have certain hard skills. If you're a banker of different categories, you need to have the hard skills. If you're a developer, you need to have hard skills. And the skills will keep on evolving. And it will keep on being more and more digital, right? But people may change jobs, may change companies, or even change industries, but many of them are true to the profession, and therefore they need to continue to upgrade hard skills. And there's another part which is transferable skills. We talked about it before. Skills such as communications, collaboration, critical thinking. Such skills can come along the way to enable every one of us to contribute well to every organization that we are part of, or even taking on our own career, our own business, and at the same time, enable people to work together to solve the biggest problems that we have to solve. So beyond that, mindset is also going to be important. I think we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
That we can have the skills, but the skills will keep on evolving. And we need to have the mindset of a lifelong learner. We need to be able to stretch ourselves outside our comfort zone all the time so that we can become better and better. So maybe establishing a network so that we can help one another as we navigate our career path or our life goals. Right? Like yourself and myself, and we connected on LinkedIn. And now, I was so inspired by some of your postings, and you got me going, you got me, give me energy to pursue things I want to do. And hopefully I can also return back to other members on the platform as well.
No, thank you so much. Talking about LinkedIn and posting, how can LinkedIn help with career pivots? Let's hear it from the head of Asia.
Well, I thought I'll hear from you because you are the practitioner on leveraging LinkedIn, right? We provide the facility for members or creators to do so. I think on the whole, what we do is we have a platform that helps people to develop their network, to share their thought leadership, and to pick up information on different industries from different people, to get inspired along the way, and to learn along the way. So this is really a platform that can help career pivots by giving more information, providing a network, and also helping them to take on a rough journeys that may happen when they pivot their career and encourage them to get going. Right? And I'd love to hear from you, Annie, on maybe a separate occasion on your thoughts around this as well, because we definitely need feedback from yourself as key creators as well as other members.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I picked up quite a number of, I've been a guest lecturer and I had a number of speaking engagements. And every time I say to people, use LinkedIn to the full, because when I was young employee, just starting, or a student, I didn't have this opportunity. I couldn't just reach out to a senior person in a bank or a financial institution or any company and ask, can you help me? Right? That was not possible to me. And now it is there. So people should use it 110%. And for me, it was actually very important for my transition, because every connection, every business opportunity for me came from LinkedIn. Most of it, 90% came from LinkedIn. So I can confirm it's absolutely invaluable to be a member.
Oh, thank you so much, Annie, for your feedback. In fact, your testimony actually helps, the life and the meaning of the job that we do at LinkedIn a lot more meaningful. Definitely.
Thank you. Well, we are at the end of the podcast, unfortunately. So let's close it with 3 key takeaways for anyone planning a career pivot at the moment.
The first one is to always see ourselves as a work in progress, never a complete product, so that we have a growth mindset. We're always ready to learn new things, learn from other people, and get inspiration from other people, and hopefully inspire others along the way as well. Second thing is to be ready to take intelligent risk. Now, by that, I mean we need to, of course, assess our financial position. We need to understand what our interests or purpose is in life. At the same time, we need to understand what our skills that we have that can contribute to the new career or new jobs that we're doing. Right? But once you've done that, take a risk sometimes, right? We may need not be 100% ready. Maybe we are 70 or 80% ready, but it's good to take on something that we are really interested or passionate about. Because someone used to say that it's better to take on something and fail than to spend your time regretting not doing it at all.
Totally.
Yeah, and then the third one is, I think, to build a network so that, you can be supported, you can get advice, you can also get help along the way as you navigate your career pivots.
Thank you, Frank. I love this. Work in progress. You're always work in progress. I really like this. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best, and we'll keep in touch on LinkedIn.
Definitely, Annie. You have a great time, and we'll catch up again.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Change is Possible podcast. I hope you enjoyed. If there is any topic that you're interested in or would like to nominate a guest, please drop me a message via LinkedIn. Have a great day. Bye.